And what do we have here? Box number 1. Bam! CalMag. The first supplement. And we got 2 little containers with it. What's in the big box, Bella? Nicely packaged. Yes. Dang. Booyah! 1, 2. 3. Look at that. Bam. Hydroponic. General hydroponic nutrients. This stuff is really packaged well. You can see, which I mean, maybe they have to do this. I don't know. But to avoid contamination, they not only does it have the cap on it, but they've taped the top of it here, sealed it, and then they put a bag over it and sealed that. So that's pretty nice. Alright guys, so what we're going to do for our lettuce solution is we're going to do our General Hydroponics 3-part and CalMag, and we're going to do, they got a little chart on these right here, and we're going to go with the aggressive vegetative growth for our lettuce. And so that's going to be 3 parts of grow, 2 parts of micro, and 1 part of bloom. And so that's going to be 1 teaspoon per gallon. So 3 parts is 3 teaspoons per gallon, 2 parts is 2 teaspoons per gallon. So you figure up how much water you got, and then you put your mixture in from there. The first thing we're going to do is the micro, and I'm going to go ahead and get these out of the packages first. So you're going to want to give each of these a good shake, and whenever in between mixing your nutrients, when you go from one to the next, you need to rinse out whatever you're using to measure out your nutrients. That way you're not cross-contaminating. So we'll go ahead and put the micro in first. Alright, so this stuff really blends in, but we're going to give this a good stir, and you want to wait like 2 minutes between applications of nutrients. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stir this up for a couple minutes, and then we'll go on to our grow, and that's going to be 3 parts grow after our 2-part micro. This stuff's really pretty soluble. It's mixing in pretty well, seems like. Now I've had this water in here for a little bit just to make sure that we weren't going to spring any leaks in our plastic, and so far so good on 6 mil plastic. Just one layer of it seems to be holding just fine. I got a little bit of styrofoam I got to dig out of here, but where I was messing with the float earlier. So after we mix this for a couple minutes, we'll go ahead and add our grow. Right, so we got our 3 parts grow mixed in there, and the last one of the general hydroponics is going to be the bloom, and we're going to do 1 part bloom, and we're going to mix that in there. And just make sure you remember that you need to shake these up real well before you pour them. Always rinse out whatever you're using to measure. Just keep rinsing it out, and wait, like I said, about 2 minutes in between putting the nutrients in the water. Make sure it's good and mixed up before you put the next nutrient in there. So we're going to go ahead and get our bloom in there, and then we'll go to the next one. Alright, so we got 1 more liquid to add, and we're going to do CalMag. And we're going to do 2 parts of the CalMag. So just like we were doing before, it's going to be 2 teaspoons per gallon. So we're going to add that, and then our last one will be Epsom salt. And I'll go over that after I get this CalMag in there. Alright guys, well, we have a situation. I was getting ready to put the Epsom salt in, but we're leaking. I don't know what happened. Somehow it's got a hole in it now. Oh man. So, I knew I should have double layered it. Oh goodness. What do we do now? Time for some emergency action. I really wasn't planning on using this same formula. This was going to be for lettuce, and then I was going to fill the rest of these up with different formula for blooming. But this is leaking out, and I really don't want to waste it. So I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take some of this out as much as we can and use it to fill up our other containers. So we got to hurry. Alright guys, well, I managed to save like 99% of it and get it in all my containers, except for one of them. I didn't switch it out because I didn't have enough left. But I'm going to go ahead and mix up some more and probably finish filling it up. And we found the culprit. Here it is. And it's right on the bottom. And I think it's pretty obvious that I did that stirring it. I got too aggressive stirring it probably and poked a hole in it because it was on the very, very bottom. It was against the plywood, and I looked all over the plywood. There's nothing sticking up, and you can see there's two of them right here, right next to each other. So that was pretty dumb. So I guess I'm just going to have to get some more 6 mil plastic, or I'll get another piece of it. I got plenty of it. And give it another go. Another day. Not today. I'm over it. Look at this mess. This will dry up in a week. Oh my God, it's everywhere. Just a total wreck. Oh, man. But yeah, I'm guessing I probably should have used something that didn't have such a sharp edge to it to stir with. So, lesson learned. Learn from my mistakes. 6 mil plastic is not extremely heavy duty. So be careful when you're stirring it. And so we'll be interested to see what these nutrients do for my pepper and strawberries, at least. Because you can see some of these have what looks to be a deficiency in the plants. So this ought to be better than what they were getting. I have my friend that grows tent tomatoes to thank for getting me excited about growing, about my nutrients, and scouring the internet for hours on end trying to figure it out. So this is what I was using, was this Maxi Bloom 5, 15, 14, and the first number here is the nitrogen, and then the second number is the phosphorus. So nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, something like that. First number is really what's going to help stuff grow, the nitrogen. Then this second number is what's really going to help with the bloom. And then the last number is going to help with, I don't know, a lot of different stuff. Something like that. I have to do more research. I'm still learning, but we got 5, 15, 14 is what we were using. And then that mixture that I just did for my lettuce is a 28, 24. And it was supposed to be for lettuce. That's why the number in the middle is so much smaller. Because you really don't need lettuce to bloom. So it'll be interesting to see how they react to that. They're already all blooming. You know, they've been eating this stuff from day one. So I'll be interested to see how that experiment goes. And then I'm going to have to get another piece of plastic and mix up another batch over here. So
2,000 years later.
Alright guys, here we are. Take number 2. We'll see if we can mess this one up. This time I went ahead and stapled down the edges all the way around just to make it a little bit nicer. And I did that before I took it out of here, and then put these in, put the liner in, and then brought it back in. That way I could get it stapled around all the edges. And I just left enough slack to give it some space to push in. So far she's holding. I don't know what we'll do if I get a leak in this one. Yeah, we're good. So we'll fill her back up and get our nutrients going again. And then we'll start planting our lettuce. Alright guys, so we got all the liquid nutrients mixed, and we're back to where we were when we started having our leaking issues. We don't have a leak now, everything's good. So the last thing that I got to do is put the Epsom salt in, and you just want to make sure it's pure Epsom salt and it doesn't have any scents or anything like that. And I'm going to do the same thing dose wise, 1 teaspoon per gallon on this. And basically the best way that I think there is, and maybe it's the wrong way, I don't know, is I've got my cup here and I filled it, went to the tap and filled it with hot water. And so I'm going to pour how much I need in here, and that hot water is going to make it real easy to just stir it up and dissolve it. And then I'm going to pour this cup into my nutrient solution. Alright, so here we go. Our last step is to check our pH. And mine's running a little high because my water's running high. My water is like 8.5 coming out of the tap. So, and my meter might be off a little bit. I probably need to calibrate it. But I'm not really worried about this. I'm out of pH down right now. So I'm not really going to adjust it. But you really want this to be between 6 and 6.5. At least. Some people, it just depends on who you ask. But for lettuce, not super critical. Lettuce is very forgiving on nutrient solution, on pH. It's a very hardy thing to grow. So I'm not that worried about it, but that's where it's at. And if we wanted to get it in that sweet spot, then we would just use some pH down. And I got some coming, but I don't have any right now. So we're going to leave it, and then we're going to start planting our lettuce plants. Alright guys, so we're to our final step here. And what we're going to do is plant our lettuce seedlings in our hydroponic system. It's real easy. All you gotta do is take your Rockwell cube and place it in your net cup, and then the little roots that are sticking out the bottom, you want to try to make sure that you can feed those through the bottom of the net cup. So there you go, you want it to look like that. Little roots sticking out of the bottom. And then we take our hydrogen and we fill across the openings here. Unfortunately, I got these really small Rockwell cubes, so they don't fit very good in these. But I had them, so need to use them. Don't want to waste anything. Just like that. It's not really centered, but doesn't have to be perfect. And then we'll just set it up here in our raft system, and we're good to go. Only 30 some more to go. All right, guys. So there you go. Everything's planted up, ready to go. I had to tape up the seams on my aluminum foil because it's blowing everywhere when I was trying to move this in here. But you can see that it's floating nicely. And it's got a pretty good snug fit. Enough to move, but not enough to let too much light come through. And so I think it's going to work great. Hopefully this is one of those deals where we can just set it and forget it. But it's rarely the case, as you guys probably know. So we'll just have to wait and see. that'll be it for this one. Sorry it took so long. Believe me, I would have liked to have done it faster. And thanks for watching.